Hi Gemini, welcome to the February 2020 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, just check out the description of the video for more information on that. Alright, as far as what we have in front of us, we have a Celtic cross spread as always. A couple extra cards came up for you there, and then also we have some oracle cards we'll take a look at after we get to the main spread, and also a mudra card. So starting with the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the Seven of Swords. So this is actually an Aquarius energy. It represents the last 10 degrees of Aquarius. And technically there's going to be some activity going on there. Towards the end of January, actually, I believe Venus will be moving through there. And then Mercury will also move through those degrees too early on in February. So there definitely will be some activity in those areas for you guys, but what this could just be pointing to, there could be some deception. Now, for a lot of you, I feel like this is definitely related to finances more so than an actual personal relationship. Now, of course, there could be someone that you are dealing with in some kind of a relationship, be it friendship, romantic, family, whatever, where there could be some financial deception at play there. But I do feel that for most of you, if there's any kind of deception, it would be tied to finances. And what it could just be saying is that mainly this would be around someone withholding money from you. Now, maybe even for some of you, this might have come to light when you guys had that full moon eclipse in Cancer. We just had that recently. I'm recording this pretty much around the middle of January. So maybe that was when it came to light, given that that eclipse did take place in your second house of finances, and it was being opposed by a whole bunch of things going on in your 8th house, which is related to finances of others. So definitely could have been some deception that came to light there. And to give you just a practical example of what it could be, for example, let's say you're at your workplace and you're asking them for a raise, right? And they might tell you that they don't have enough money. Meanwhile, they really do. They're just trying to tell you, oh, this is all we have, when realistically, they actually have a lot more that they could possibly offer up to you. So that could be what's at play there for some of you. In the challenger obstacle position, we have the Page of Wands and the Four of Pentacles. So this is actually a Capricorn energy, represents the last 10 degrees of Capricorn, and right now we actually have that Saturn and Pluto conjunction in those degrees of Capricorn. And again, this is related to your house of others, finances regarding others. So that, along with this Page of Wands energy, could just be saying that the challenger obstacle for you guys is to explore other options. So for example, if this is around your workplace, right, and you feel like you're not being valued properly when it comes to finances, it could just be saying that the challenger obstacle is for you to get out there and explore other options, right? Because the Page of Wands energy is definitely an exploratory energy. But you combine that with this Four of Pentacles, this could just be saying that you're a little bit fearful to actually make that leap. And because you're just a little bit fearful, not necessarily in a lack of mentality, but you're just a little bit too comfortable with the security of where you're currently at, so where you might not feel like you have what you could be getting, right? You could not be, maybe you're not earning what you're fully capable of, but at the same time you feel like, well, it's secure, it's what I know, I'm going to stay here, right? So that could be what's coming up here as far as this showing up as a challenger obstacle for you guys. And for some of you, this can also be relating to the person you might be dealing with. Maybe this is saying that there's a fire sign in your life that could be withholding some finances from you as well. In the foundation position, we have the Page of Pentacles. So this is another energy here that makes me feel like this is all primarily related to finances in some way, shape, or form. Now we see two page energies on the board. We had the Page of Wands in the challenge, and now here we see the Page of Pentacles in the foundation position. So to me, this is almost pointing to that Four of Pentacles energy in a way too, because what I always say stands out to me with this particular page is the fact that if we look a little bit closer, we see it looks like that pentacle is just out of his reach, right? So usually when I see a page energy, I see someone actually taking action, making an offer to someone. But here, if we look at that pentacle, it's just out of that person's reach. So that could be how, this could be saying that it's how you feel. Maybe, for example, they might even give you certain goals at your workplace, right? And then you might feel like you accomplished those goals, and then all of a sudden they move the goalpost on you, right? Now, okay, well, he got through all these things, or she got through all these things. Now we're going to give them this whole new list of things they have to do to get to whatever goal that they've set for themselves, right? So that could be what you guys might be feeling. And again, for this to be just out of reach like that, and with it being a page energy, this could just be saying for some of you, it might actually be an offer coming in. But for others of you, this could just be saying that, the impetus is going to be on you guys to actually go out there and seek it. Another way this could even be playing out too, another thing that came to mind is, for example, especially this could be related to internet. So two ways this could be playing out too. One could be saying that maybe there's someone that's stealing your content. That's something that I've seen happen in this community quite a bit. So that's one way it could be playing out. So keep an eye out for that. Or this could even just be saying that that's the challenge for you as well, which is to expand your reach in a certain way, shape, or form. So maybe, if you have a product that you're offering online, let's say, maybe you need to market it to a wider audience, basically. All right, in the past position, we have the Knight of Wands. So this is actually a card that represents Sagittarius energy. So perhaps this is just pointing to the timeline. Maybe during Sagittarius time, maybe you were feeling a little bit more bold and out exploring a bit more. And maybe for whatever reason now you're a little bit, coming back down from that. Or this could just be saying and reminding you that maybe in the past you might have been this way. You might have been more exploratory and more willing to put yourself out there and explore. I mean, we do see there's some similarities in their appearance, right, as far as the clothes that they're wearing and whatnot. But, even the background, right, it looks like there's some pyramids in the background there. Looks like something similar to that in the background there. So this could just even be saying that in the past, you might have been a bit more bold and willing to put yourself out there and see what was out there. And maybe now, for whatever reason, you're just a little bit, maybe feeling a little bit stuck where you're currently at. So it could just be pointing to that, or like I said, this could just be pointing to all of the energy we might have had during Sag season, and also maybe even going back to, since we do see the Wheel of Fortune here, this could even just be pointing to Jupiter moving through your opposite sign, which it was doing for about a year. Now it's moved into Capricorn. So, some people think that means luck and expansion with partnerships, but it doesn't always have to equal luck. It could also exacerbate things that are already wrong in your partnerships. So that could even just be saying that maybe with that transit of Jupiter through your opposite sign, it might have even emboldened people to take more advantage of you regarding partnerships, especially since a lot of that transit was spent square Neptune, and Neptune's in your 10th house of career. So there definitely could have been some deception at play there. Regardless of how that all played out, though, the good thing is that in the present position, we do see the Wheel of Fortune. So for me, this is saying that things are going to start working in your favor now. But I do have to say this is probably still going to at least take some action on your part in order to really get it rolling in a positive direction, because that page is looking directly at the Wheel of Fortune. And like we said, we see what's underneath that, right? So could just be saying that things can turn in your favor, but it will require some action from you. So something to keep in mind there. And we're going to have plenty of activity going on in your 10th house of career through the month of February too. So definitely something to keep in mind there. In the near future position, we have the Strength card. So you can see this a couple different ways. On the one hand, this could just be saying that you actually have that strength to put yourself out there. This is Leo energy. So if we think about Leo energy, it's bright, it's bold, it's out there, right? So this could just be saying that this is you actually being able to put yourself out there. Another way this could be playing out too, though, there's going to be a full moon in the sign of Leo in February. So this could be what it's pointing to as well. And what that could even be saying there, since Leo is your third house of communication, this could just be a bit of a cautionary thing too, saying, not try not to speak out of ego. So for example, let's say you do put yourself out there, right? And you go on an interview for this new amazing job. Try not to approach it with too much ego. That could be one way to say it. Or if there's someone that you feel like you want to call out, if you have discovered some kind of deception going on, try to handle it in a bit more of a diplomatic way if you can. I mean, it looks like you'll still get the victory anyway, since we do see the strength card here in the near future, and I see the magician in the outcome. But could just be saying to try to, try to hold your tongue a little bit and just be a little bit more diplomatic about it if you can. Might be easier said than done, right? In the position of your influence on the situation, we do see the Eight of Wands in reverse. So this is another indicator for me that says that for whatever reason, you seem to not really be willing or able to take action right now. Maybe you're just putting things on pause. I do have to say, of course, why not, right? On top of all the energy we already see here in February, you are actually going to have Mercury go retrograde in your 10th house of career. So that's something to keep in mind there too. So maybe once that takes place, that retrograde takes place in your 10th house, maybe that's when some of these things all get cleared up for you, where you get another chance to look at some of these things. And maybe that's what's going to eventually lead you towards feeling a bit more confident making a decision. But keep in mind, though, that, even with all this said, and maybe that's what the strength is saying there too, which is to say to temper yourself a little bit because the timing might not be just right. So, maybe you could integrate all of this information, put yourself out there and see what's out there, but it might not be just the time, it might not be the time to act just yet. In the position of the environment, we see the Two of Swords. So this is actually, well, this could be saying a couple of things. This could just be saying that, let's say, going back to that generic example, if you went on a job interview, this could just be saying that this is maybe the people who you interview with. Maybe they're a bit undecided as to whether to give you the job, right? So there could just be some delay hearing back from them. And again, that could tie in with that retrograde energy, right? Where you might put your resume out there, might have an interview, you might feel like it went great, but then you're not hearing back from them. That could just be pointing to maybe this is what the retrograde energy would bring for you guys, just a bit of a delay. So could just be saying don't panic, and maybe, that's what this is about in that regard too, right? Saying that, hey, if you put yourself out there, you don't hear back right away. Don't freak out. Could just be a timing thing with the retrograde. This could even be pointing to your energy too, though, because this is just the energy of the environment. So it doesn't always have to represent people external to you. It could also point to how the transits going on might be influencing you. So this could just be saying that this is the energy you're in, where, it could be a should I stay or should I go thing, right? Where you're like, all right, well, again, going back to what we were saying, should I leave where I'm currently at, right? Or at least see what else is out there, or should I just stay, right? So maybe that's what's on your mind too, where you have two minds about a situation. And this is Libra energy too. So another way you could look at this too is to say that in the end, everything should balance itself out. But like I said, you might at least become aware of some deception around finances this month. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the Seven of Wands, 10 of Swords, and 10 of Pentacles. So an interesting combination there. What this could be pointing to could just be saying that for some of you, you might be hoping to stand up for yourself, right? And put an ending to a situation that might have been holding you back from this financial security that you're seeking, right? That 10 of Pentacles. Or this could be saying that some of you might be fearful of actually, standing up for yourself for fear that it would lead to an ending, and maybe you might feel like that would prevent you from your 10 of Pentacles. So could be playing out a couple of different ways. But again, I do see that repeated theme there where it looks like for whatever reason, a lot of you might just be, feeling like you can't take action at this time for some reason. All right, in the outcome position, we have the Magician. So this is definitely a pretty positive energy to end up with, especially given that we do see the Wheel of Fortune in the present position. So this could just be saying that, regardless of what's going on, you do have the ability to manifest what you want to come from the situation. Like I said, it could just be as simple as maybe just a retrograde might throw some delays into the whole situation. But I do feel like regardless of retrograde or not, I feel like some information is going to come out to you guys. If it hasn't already happened, like I said, maybe during that full moon in your second house, that's where this stuff might have come to light. But either way, with this coming out in the outcome, it does say that you have that manifestation ability. So even if you feel, and maybe this is what all these, stuck energies I'm seeing on your part are pointing to, which is to say maybe you just don't feel like this is the right timing, then, that doesn't mean you have to just come to a complete standstill, right? So, like I said, if you feel like, well, maybe you decide internally, all right, I definitely want to leave this job, right? But you might feel like, well, Mercury retrograde might not be the time to make that move. This could just be saying, all right, well, at the very least, you could put yourself out there, see what jobs are available, right? And maybe even just doing that might make you feel a little bit more secure about where you are at, right? Because maybe you look at other jobs and you're like, all right, well, realistically, maybe it's not as bad as I think it is, right? Maybe there isn't anything better available right now. But even just knowing that can make you feel a little bit better. So could just be saying, maybe see what else is out there. Maybe if you do spot something you like, right? Maybe you don't have to act on it right away, but at least you could keep that in mind and say, all right, cool. Well, this looks interesting, right? Maybe when March rolls around, when Mercury's out of shadow, then you could officially put yourself out there for those types of jobs. So just some examples of how it could be playing out. And then at the bottom of the deck, we do have the King of Cups. And this is actually a Scorpio energy. So for you guys, that's your sixth house of, daily routines. Also could be pointing to work. And then obviously Scorpio is the natural ruler of the eighth house, and we talked about all the energy we have going on there in Capricorn. So this could just be saying, keep in touch with your emotions too, and see emotionally what you feel like. Rely on your intuition a little bit with the King of Cups energy. And also the King of Cups isn't quick to act either. So this could just be saying really integrate, your intuition, feel out how you feel about a situation emotionally, and then maybe come March with the Knight of Swords beneath that, maybe that'll be the time for you to actually act on the situation, right? So let's see what the Oracle cards add to the mix. First we have Orphaned. There's the artwork, and the number is 5. Okay, it says a sense of loss, an identity crisis, recognizing that you don't fit in, the need to belong, uncertainty about your place. So that could be what we're seeing there with that Seven of Swords energy, right? The Oracle's message says we were all meant to have connections with other people, within our families, society, and the larger culture. No man is an island, and it's important to recognize when being a part of, rather than separate from, is essential to your well-being. The issue at hand is the need to find where you fit. Be true to your core truths and values. Perhaps you no longer identify with a group or a community the way you did before and need to find a new situation. You might be feeling a deep sense of loss or confusion. Address the need for belonging and know that you will find your place with others of like mind and spirit. It's okay to let go of pressure to fit in. Not everyone will understand you. It's time to move on. So that could even be what this is all pointing to as well, right? It could just be saying that maybe this is a group that you've outgrown or a job you've outgrown, might not even necessarily be pointed to deception, but it could just be coming to a realization that, okay, this is about as far as I could get on this path, right? So maybe that's what it's about. All right, the relationship message says, as you shift and evolve and commit to your own growth, you long for support but may be disappointed and hurt by others who are not providing what you feel you deserve. Perhaps you are drifting away from this relationship because you're in a different stage of personal growth. Perhaps you are in a new relationship and discovering that you don't share the same values and beliefs, so you feel left out, unable to get to that intimate place of safety and belonging. Take heart, as Spirit knows you and loves you, and will steer you in the direction of those who accept you as you are without artifice or agenda. Don't compromise yourself to belong. It won't be worth the price. So I do have to say, I really didn't pick up on much of a relationship vibe here at all. For those of you more interested in that, I will have a love reading that I'll put out probably in a couple weeks, but definitely before February officially starts. So maybe you'll get some more insight there. But yeah, for those of you who were interested in relationships, hopefully that message at least gave you some info there. And the prosperity message says, this card reminds you that you can't be all things to all people. You are not going to be popular with everyone, and that has to be okay with you. Be clear about your mission, your brand, your work persona, and your contribution to the world, as these must be based on what you authentically have to offer, not something you think will sell or you perceive they may want. You will attract abundance by being completely yourself. Stay in your own lane. That's where you will shine and where you will experience prosperity. So hopefully you guys got some insight from that message as well. And moving on to the next oracle card you guys got. This is from the Spirit Animal Oracle, and you got Dragonfly Spirit. It says, truth transcends illusion. There's the artwork, and the number is 22. So that makes me think of what we were saying there with the whole Seven of Swords energy. So about some truth coming to light. But we'll see what the actual message has to say in the book. Okay, it says, Dragonfly Spirit is here to remind you of the wisdom and truth available at all times in the hidden realms. Just as a dragonfly catches your eye with its reflective wings and body, Dragonfly Spirit appears to tell you to pay attention to the truth beyond the illusion and recognize the insights that come seemingly out of nowhere, peeking through from behind the veil. In the realm of spirit, there is far more wisdom than you can perceive with your senses, and there is a deep knowing that you are not separate or alone, for a higher power recognizes you and loves you beyond measure. Fears dissipate as you realize you are embraced by the nurturing force that is everywhere, always in communication with you. Alighting when you are preoccupied, Dragonfly Spirit offers this message. You coexist in unity with all, including the protective spirit who shares their wisdom, and you are being nudged along the path your soul needs to travel to have the experiences it craves. Love exists in many forms, and sometimes we overlook it when we don't recognize a particular form. Pay attention to the signs now. They remind you that each of us have inspired dreams seamlessly sewn into the fabric of the invisible world, and there is a great consciousness that exists in the seemingly empty spaces, guiding us on our journey. Open to the truth, letting the wisdom of the hidden realms inform you, providing insights your conscious mind overlooks. So, pretty deep message there, but that definitely makes me think of what we were saying with the King of Cups being at the bottom of the deck, and at the time I'm recording this, Uranus also just turned direct in your 12th house, and when we have that new moon in Aquarius, so technically before February, but at the time I'm recording this, it hasn't happened yet. That new moon in Aquarius is actually going to square Uranus in your 12th house too, so you might even get some sudden insights there, since we do see some Aquarius energy on the table. But hopefully you guys got something from that message. And lastly, we have your mudra card. So this is the mudra you guys got for this month. It's the Avahana mudra, and the keyword for it is connection. Here's some info on it. Okay, and it looks like not everything fits in the frame there, so I'll move it up a bit in case you wanted to read it, so you could just pause it, take a screenshot or whatever. But it says grounding and centering improves digestion and assimilation, strengthens devotion and connection with one's personal deity or deity, depending on where you live in the world, or principle of divinity, truth, etc. So if that sounds like something you think will be helpful for you guys, I'll put the name of that mudra in the description as well. And we'll wrap up there, guys, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.